Hi.
Hi, how's it going?
Hi, Jess. Hi. It's going good. I'm eating pickle. I'm eating a pickle.
Oh,
It's been like, I don't know how many hours, so I just got this.
I totally
I'll
understand.
I'll finish it.
Well, in spite of all that, thank you very much for taking the time to do this interview.
Yeah, of course. Thanks for having me. How are
Oh,
you
abs
doing?
I'm doing great, and it's great to be able to talk about this new album that's already coming out mid-April through Frontiers Music, Hostage. It's great to see that the sophomore album is so close now, and I've gotten the chance to be able to check this out, and it really feels like the band has progressed so much since the debut album, and it feels like the band is stronger, the songwriting is stronger, everything just feels stronger in the band, and it's so great to see that.
Yeah, thanks. That's really good to hear. I think it's just because you know this was the second album we wrote together, so we kind of are even better, you know, we're a better team now, because we kind of now know how to work together. So everything is easier and faster and stuff like that, and everybody is more relaxed, you know, speaking out, and we can argue about what kind of a C part should we do or not, and so we're more relaxed because we kind of basically know each other more than we did on the first album.
Oh, for sure. So, thinking about that as well, I mean, what was it like when you started writing for the new album?
Well, we started summer 2020 during COVID and the lockdowns. We lost all our job, all the gigs of 2020 album, and there was a lot of stress and like financial stress, and also a lot of insecurity about where the whole world is going. And then we decided to go to the summer gathering and start writing the next album because we had time. And then it was it was great to just be able to forget everything else and start writing music and have fun with it. And like we did like 5 songs. I think they did like half of the album in 2020, and then we kind of stopped everything uh, because I had some personal health issues, and then the like getting this album ready was a very high stress situation because all of a sudden very we had a tight deadline we had to meet, and we were kind of really panicking about it and really like doing decisions, like because I'm the executive, of course, executive producer, but I'm also like do a lot of the decisions in the production. So I really had to trust like my instincts, the first gut feeling, because I didn't have time to think it through the second time or analyze it or perfectionize anything. So so it was like really like working so fast and hard and really leave leaving everything out that was not necessary. So it became a great. I kind of learned a lot from this album because I did like very fast, intuitive decisions. Of course, I was terrified of what the hell is gonna come out of the album, but everything turned out good. So like we're happy with it. So everything turned out fine in the end. But of course, I didn't know it in the moment. But now when I look at it, like retrospectively, I can see that it was a good learning uh, opportunity for me because I'm a little bit, not a little bit, a lot of, I'm a perfectionist. So I tend to overanalyze everything. And it was good to see that I can trust my gut feeling more, my instincts. So they are not wrong. I can trust them more in the future, because I had to trust them now because of the schedule, the deadline, and it paid off. There's a lot of, I don't know what had happened if we would have had like a lot more time. The album would be different than it's now. So it's a kind of a blessing in disguise that there was this tight deadline to meet.
So thinking about that, you said that you did learn so much from this process, and I imagine just like the abilities of trusting your gut instinct, just letting things feel right the first time and not having to overanalyze everything. Would you say that's like the biggest thing that you learned from this whole experience, or was there more that you learned that might be a little bit smaller to that?
No, I think I do think that the biggest thing I learned personally was to just trust myself more, and the decisions I make musically, and not kind of bashing myself or trying to wanting someone to agree or support me in my decisions, because it doesn't, it's like with everything, there's so many opinions that there is people, and I think in important decisions that in art, you shouldn't listen to other opinions if you are doing your own stuff. So it was a very good thing that we were just a very intuitive, we're free from analyzing anything. Like, we didn't think like what kind of songs we're gonna make, or what kind of do we play around, what kind of genres on this album, or I didn't know. Well, I never think about like what should I write about, because I don't have a list of themes. When we compose it, and it's usually the three of us, Tuomas, Vivi, and I, who write the songs, and then I write the lyrics way later. And sometimes often then also come to the sessions, but most of the time it's the three of us. And it was just, we were really really relaxed to just play around and see what comes out of it. And I'm happy about it, because I was afraid that we would, kind of feel some kind of pressure, like what now after the first album, and starting to like, well, who are we and what? But we were really like free from all of that thinking. We were just writing songs.
And it's funny because of that old saying, like you take a piece of coal and you put so much pressure and heat on it and it creates diamonds. And that's how it feels on this album, like knowing that there was so much pressure that was put upon you and the deadline and all these things, but you just let go of the inhibitions and you just write for the music. You just sing what feels natural and you just let that go. And sometimes that really is the best way to go. And especially with this collection of songs, I mean, it doesn't feel like you needed to overthink anything, that you needed to overanalyze anything, that you just needed to go in and make the songs the way that they are. But just like you're describing, it's like sometimes you don't realize that until after you've been through that situation. So, having that learning experience, I mean, it really feels like it's added a new level to yourself and to the band. And, for the next writing cycle or whenever that happens, you can take a little bit more of that pressure off, because you know that you can work under these kind of situations.
Yeah, it was kind of good to see that everything's okay in all kind of situations, that we can pull through, from a lot in life, as humans in general. We have a lot of strength to pull through in life.
Oh, for sure. And I can only imagine, like, when you heard like the final versions of these songs, when you got to listen to them for the first time, it had to be not just a sigh of relief, but just like knowing how good the songs came off, and like all of the work and the hectic feelings that had to come with it was all worth it.
Yeah, because it was chaos in my mind, and it was like, I stayed up for 58 hours, before mastering, because we were still singing the song, still editing. Tuomas was mixing. We didn't even have a chance to have a outside mixing engineer because we were doing everything, you know, at the same time. There were no lyrics to this song, or, you know, but it was mixed otherwise. And, you know, it was, I was recording I recorded my own singing, like, and while Thomas was mixing and I was editing, I was still writing lyrics to some, and I was like, oh my God, what we're gonna do? And then I realized that because we had to like send it, we were mixing and doing this all the time. And then I was like, oh my God, I have to have the order, the mastering, you know, and it's in a couple of hours. And I was in chaos. I thought that the whole album is total shit. And all of us were agreeing that it's total shit and we're gonna die of embarrassment. And then I had to like decide the album, like where to put the songs, what's the order of the song. And then I started to listen to the songs, and I usually, I'm the only one who does this, so I was doing that. And then when we were somewhere running away from the whole project by that time, and I was listening to the songs and trying, like, please let me put them in some kind of order, like what is going on, what's the how, because this happened in the last moment. Yeah, I had no clue. And I was like, okay, I'm gonna listen to them and they will tell me where they want to go, like where they need to go. And I listened to it like 2 times, the album, and I felt this huge relief. That's the first time I actually heard the songs, you know, heard the album, because even though I like worked on it all the time, like, but I wasn't able to hear the music. I mean, the songs or the album when there was such a panic and chaos going on. And that was the first time I heard the songs and I got the album and the songs on the right order, and I knew like what the whole journey is about now. And I felt really relieved that it actually wasn't what we were fearing, that I was enjoying myself to listen to it, which was a weird, you know, a strange feeling, because that wasn't what we were feeling when we were trying to, you know, put them together last minute. Like, God, we don't have a C part. It's like, it was chaos, but that's exactly what I take as a gift from this, is that the intuitive way of working, no time for questioning, just trust the first instinct, go there, because there's no time to do anything else. And I really feel like it was beautiful to see how good it worked, you know, in the end, that it made me much more secure. Like, I can trust myself more, you know, all of us should trust. And it was just for me to really kind of, it was a revelation to understand that I can actually trust myself, and it was okay, everything's good.
Oh,
Yeah.
absolutely. And I can hear it from like just from my own ears. Like, it feels like this was the track order it was supposed to be in. This was the production style it should have been in. These are the sound structures that they should have been in. And yeah, I can only imagine that had to been one of the greatest great feelings in your life, when you were able to sit down and realize that these songs really were as good as you were hoping they were going to be, when you take all the chaos out of it and you're able to just sit down with the songs and put them in order. And when you have that clarity in mind and you're able to put everything in the right order, it just came out sounding the right way. And I can only imagine that people like myself, when they're able to check this out in April, are going to be feeling the same way, because to me it feels like a full, complete album experience from start to finish. It feels like the opener's in the right spot, the closer's in the right spot, and everything in between is right where it should be.
Yeah, thank you. It's for me, it's very important that album has a journey. So it's important, like the song order is important, to be able to take the listener from the starting point to the ending point. And there is just one way to put the songs, you know, it has to be right to build the emotional journey that you're on.
Oh, absolutely. And of course, another part of that chaos that comes with it, I mean, after having that sigh of relief is also being able to choose the singles and putting together the videos and all of that. And, having people hear the album for the first time through a single. I mean, what was that like to be able to pick those songs out?
It was it was kind of easy. Yet again, this was a gut feeling, uh, because we already had to say them once we gave the album to the label. We had to have the singles chosen, and for me it was very like it was very very. We talked about it with Vivian Thomas, and we weren't 100% agreeing. There was like there were other songs also on the table to be the singles, but it felt that these are the ones that should be the singles because they don't tell the whole story of the album. They are quite both are in a way in a marginal part maybe of the album, in a way that they are some moments that we wanted to kind of highlight from the album because there's a lot, because a lot more going on and a lot more heavier stuff also on the album. But we want to change because we wrote it on this, sunny summer day during COVID, feeling uplifted by mimosa drinking, and and we really feel that our feeling, the feeling of relief that day, when we were laughing just together and drinking mimosas, and we really feel that it's all there captured in this song, and it can never like taken away, and it's very uplifting. It's empowering to me. I'm uplifted every time I hear it because I feel like the mimosa, the bubbles of the sparkling wine kind of got into the song. And it's always doing like this. I'm like, yes, it's a summer day. Everything's okay. It's light. It's light. And because the world is in a weird place right now, still, it's not easy for anyone. We live in chaos. We really wanted everyone to feel this uplifting effect. We hope that it's uplifting to everyone else also, not only to us. And that's why we wanted to also the video to be really like colorful and joyful, and to really just start it off with a positive vibe. And then the second single, Imperfect Day, of course, takes a 180 and kind of turns inwards. And it takes you to a place of mourning. It gives you a place where you can experience the the broken heart and the loss you felt, and it kind of like paints the picture of the steps you have to walk through to get out of that sorrow when you've broken a heart, when you've lost someone in your life and you're still missing them, and that it's kind of losing someone is kind of a death. I feel that it's a process of death, and you have to get out of there, and it has a lot of steps, and it's kind of the moment where everything died. Imperfect Day is like the moment when everything dies. You're missing back, but you know that there's no turning back in life, and you know that you have to go through the death to get out back to life. So that's the moment, and basically that is also what the album is. So it's on the journey, and then you start digging your way out of the grave that you're in, in a way, all through the album.
Yeah, and that's what I appreciate so much about the album is you can really feel all of those feelings, all of those emotions. It's very relatable in that sense because there are those moments that you do just want to kick back, drink the mimosas, and be able to enjoy the day. There are those times where you have to deal with a kind of loss, whether it's a real death, whether it's losing someone a part of your life, whether it's a failed
Yes,
any kind of relationship, no matter who it is. I mean, everyone deals with those experiences, and when you can
yes,
relate that into a song, when it feels real, when it doesn't feel like it's forced, like the entire album, like the whole thing just feels real and strong to me because it's coming from a real place. And when that is the case, the listener is able to relate to it that much more. And when you have all these different colors a part of the musical palettes, you're able to appreciate things so much more. And when you're able to go back to the songs, some of the songs are going to hit a little harder depending on how you're feeling that day or what you need to hear that day, whether you need that cathartic feeling, whether you need those happy feelings. There's so much to it, and it's really got that depth. And despite all the pressure that went into it, I'm so happy to see that all of that is still intact.
thank you so much. It's really great to hear because I always worry about this because it's for me it's the most important thing that music has energy and emotion, and it takes the listener uh, to this journey uh, to themselves and their experiences in life, and gives them the possibility to kind of process these feelings and whatever has happened uh, in their lives. Is it past trauma or a broken heart or whatever it is, anger, whatever, there's so much we go through. And I want to give a way for people to kind of have a safe place to work with these feelings, but in a way that it doesn't leave you in a worse place than what you started from, but so that it helps you it releases you so that you, by the end of the album, you're in a better place than you were. Like you feel this relief. Uh, that's what I'm kind of trying. I want the journey to be like that it always takes you to a better place than what you started from. And it's so good to hear that, because sometimes I think that, is it only in my mind? Like, do I think that I write the emotion inside of the songs and nobody gets anything? Like that. It's there's no emotion to anyone, and it's really good to hear that you can hear it and feel it, because that's the whole point for me in making music.
Oh, for sure. And yeah, I definitely hear, I mean, between both albums, I mean, you can definitely hear those different emotions, and there's so many different great highs, great lows, everything in between. And that's the human experience. And, just everything that you were talking about, like through your own struggles of making the album and coming out the other side feeling better when you actually get to listen to the album and you feel better yourself. That is definitely coming through my side. And I am hopefully with everyone else, when they get the chance to hear the whole album themselves, they'll be able to have that feeling. It's like there's many highs and lows musically, lyrically, of course. I mean, there's some great high spots, some great dark spots, but on the other side, you do feel better and more content about everything once before you heard it for the first time. And it's so great to hear that. And yeah, again, just like everything that you and the band have went through for all this, it seems like there's going to be some great rewards coming from that, because I've seen some great reception to the single so far, and some other people who I've gotten the tattoo who have checked out the album, they're feeling very much the same way that I am. And it's great to see that all of that pain is coming out the other side so worth it.
No, I'm so happy to hear that, because it's so good, because I really, you never know what to expect, and you just have to, release the album to the world and hope that the people who are who need it or want it, or that it finds its way to the right people who want to hear it. And it's so good to hear that people have felt this way, because for me it's really like the most important job in my life to kind of, because music for me is such a healing power, has always been. Every other people's music, I mean, since I was a kid. And I also want to offer that healing, uh, with my own music, to others. So I don't want to make like empty music, or I want there to be uh, the right kind of energy, because I hope everyone could be a little more content and a little more happier in their lives than what they are. Like every day would be a little more happier for everyone.
So if that's the case, if the next album is all funeral doom metal, then we know that there's some really dark moments going on, right?
Yes, definitely. Yeah, that's so true. Yeah, I don't know what the next album is going to be like. There's always, life gives us, lemons. Oh, well, I love lemons, so I can't use that. You know, life serves us, the good and the bad. And we have every one of us has a lot of, you know, hardness, hard times in their lives. But there's also so much beauty in life, and it's kind of finding the balance there, and kind of finding the place where the balance exists is important. And that's what I've tried to do. I've tried to kind of come out of this album, like the ending of the album is like, for me, it's almost like a bit meditative, like the ending. And I'm trying to calm and soothe everyone, uh, and kind of make them let go. Stop holding yourself hostage. Let go of the past trauma. Stop blaming others who have held you hostage. It's just overall, it's just an overall feeling of saying, like, I see you, I feel you, I understand. We are all similar. We go through the same shit. And it's time for us to be happy. It's time for the release. It's time to be freed from all of that. And then we can move forward to something that the next album is. I don't know what it is. It will be the most melancholic, saddest thing. Hopefully not.
Oh
Yeah,
no,
but
but
at least we're free, from the past. So it's the new shit then.
absolutely. And I was going to say, I love the way that the album ends like that for that reason. And because to me, it really did have like that hypnotic feel behind it. Like you're trying to encourage people to be able to move forward. And I appreciate that. It's like, I'm a big fan of longer songs anyway. So the fact that you're able to take like the whole ending of the album and just be able to have that kind of meditative feeling behind it is a really cool thing that I think people would be able to appreciate more and more, that they're able to check that out. And just like you've mentioned before, it's just like, whether you just want to look at the pandemic, whether you want to look at personal experiences, childhood experiences, things that you're dealing with now, we all go through those kinds of things. And, in 2023, with everything that we've been through for the human experience, whether it's personal or the world in general, you just want to be able to break through all that stuff and start appreciating life again, because there are so many dark reasons to not appreciate it. So why not just flip the script and be able to appreciate life a little bit more? And this is the kind of album that really does appreciate that, whether it's through those cathartic feelings of knowing that you're not alone with your feelings, or just the polar opposite of just going out there and being happier. I mean, it's got all of that in there. And again, like, I'm so excited to see what people are going to be saying about this album outside of myself. I'm excited for any live shows that come up and they're able to experience this in the live setting. I mean, there's so many different ways to be able to appreciate this. And just seeing that you're happier and better on the other side of this album, it's got me very excited for that future of the band and for yourself as well.
Thank you so much. Yes, I'm really happy with the album, all in all, like how it turned out, and how we were. I will never understand how we were able to pull this off. Like, because it, a lot of it really came from somewhere, because we didn't have time to think at all. So it was born in high pressure, but it's a beautiful baby for us. I like, it's our precious baby. In our eyes, it's beautiful. So we're really happy, and I'm excited too about the future. Like, where are we going next, and how are we going to work? I don't know. Let's see.
And,
But I can tell you there will be some mimosas because that was so good.
Oh, those had to be some of the most satisfying mimosas.
They were.
So the thinking about that, I mean, obviously, again, with the album coming out next month through Frontiers, like, is there anything planned in the immediate future after the release of the album?
Yeah, yes, we have the album is coming out in the end of April 21st, and then we have our first live gig. We're going to celebrate the album release with 3 live gigs in Finland. We're going to have a release party in 3 different cities. So it's in the end of May, and of course, this whole scheduling is because, you know, like Stradivarius, which is Rolf's other band, is touring up until May 15th or something. So we're going to have the release gigs, you know, when he comes back, and everybody else is also able to be there. So it's good that, you know, it's good that the band is there for the release show.
Oh, for sure.
So yes, it's a plus, you know. So we're gonna have live shows, and I'm really happy about it, because last time with 2020 we were just rehearsing for the gig that was supposed to be, this was Monday, and it was supposed to be the first release gig was supposed to be on Wednesday, and on Monday everything was canceled and shut down, and we never had the release gigs. So I'm really happy that we get to kind of have them now with the second album, and we're gonna, you know, celebrate for the old 2 albums, and then we're gonna, of course, we have three gigs there, and then we have the summer festivals and stuff like that. So it's gonna go, and we're finally gonna get to Tuska Festival in Finland, which we were supposed to play in 2020, but it was postponed, and now we're gonna be able to hit the stage, because in Finland that's, you know, the thing, Tuska Festival.
Oh,
and we also have other cool, but that's more, Tuska is something that people usually know from abroad also, but there's a lot of other cool festivals like John Smith and all those. So it's going to be a nice summer we're going to have ahead of us.
Yeah, it definitely sounds like it. And I'm so glad to see that the live shows are coming together. You know, it's like, obviously with the pandemic and of course the rest of the lineup of the band, you know, being a part of such amazing bands as they are, I know it's hard to be able to schedule everything to work around to make everyone happy and all the bands that they're a part of. But I'm so glad that this is going to be getting the live reception it deserves, getting to do some festival shows, getting to do other types of shows, and whatever happens in the future. I'm glad to see that these songs, and of course off the previous album as well too, that they're going to be getting that live recognition it deserves.
Yeah, I'm really happy about it, but it's the truth, it's not easy with this band, because people are in other bands also, as in we have to kind of like we're the last in line in a way, because we're a smaller band for many members, so we have to wait until, you know, if the other bands don't have a gig, and then we can play, and so it means, of course, that because we're in second spot for especially for Rolf and Teemu, because of the big Widgets and Stradivarius, it means that we're kind of we are not able to play live, you know, as much as we would want to, but I'm just happy that we're able to play at all. So it's very nice that we get to have these gigs, and hopefully, you know, we will have a lot more in the future.
Oh, definitely. And I hope with the reception of this album, you know, it's just like the praise that I'm giving it. And I hope everyone else who you've gotten to talk to so far and will be as well talking about this album will be feeling the same way that I do. And the fan reception and the sales, like everything that goes into it, I hope it goes into the right direction, because this album is worthy of that recognition that it truly deserves. And again, you know, it's just like, I'm so happy to see all the positivity that's come out through all the trials and tribulations of making this album, coming out the other side side, being a stronger band, being stronger individuals, feeling prouder of yourself, knowing what you're capable of, and then coming up, being able to show off the band in full, in live, finally, being able to play off of both albums, being able to have those great times, and hopefully so much more success in the live situation. And from all the experiences, the next release, whatever that's going to be, just having that be the strongest material, even stronger than this. I just hope that it's going to be even stronger and just continuing on going forward. And with that, I thank you again so much for taking the time to be able to talk to me. It was awesome to be able to talk to you about some really heavy moments that have been going through the band, and mentally and physically going through everything and coming out the other side just so much stronger. It's been awesome to be able to talk to you.
Thank you so much for having me on your show. It's been really nice to talk to you, and you had some great questions. It was good to talk about the album this way that we did. So I'm really happy and excited. Now I'm looking forward to the third album. Like, where is it? Can I hear it already?
Oh yeah, I can definitely say
if it's total murder, well, then I'll call you back and we're gonna discuss this. Like, where was it going? This release, freedom, and letting go.
Oh, that'd be great. But yeah, I mean, just thinking about this again, like I have a deeper appreciation for this album now, being able to hear your perspective through all of this, and I imagine that the rest of the band having their own personal feelings going with it, along yours as well, and just being able to come out the other side of it. Again, with a Hostage coming out April 21st through Frontiers Music, I appreciate this album even more than before I started talking to you, and I can't wait to be able to show off this interview. And it was a great time being able to talk to you. And whenever that third release happens, it'd be great to catch up and see what has happened since then.
Definitely, let's do that. Thank you so much, Josh, for having me.
Oh, absolutely.
And talking to me.
Oh, of course. And I know it's been a busy day, so I'll let you go with the press and everything. I let you rest up your voice and stuff. So again, I thank you very much for taking the time to do this interview. It was a great time, and I hope you have a great rest of the day.
Thank you. I think I'm gonna eat another pickle.